Hello, duelists. This is the Doomsday Device podcast with your Birdmaster William.
And a guy that plays plants.
And a guy that plays plants. We're working on the nicknames, but we got a guy that plays plants over here. Well, today we're going to be talking about the meta for Edison format, the top of the tournaments lately.
Since we've seen such a significant change in the way the format's played.
Right, and then some jank that we like cooking up.
We're going to try to innovate some new things. We're going to try to cook up some hot nonsense, and really try to make the format as diverse as possible with as many beast decks as possible.
Which we all know what that translates to is Black Wings and something else.
Black Wings.
Yeah, Black Wings, Vayu, and then a couple other things just trickle
Disgusting.
in.
Diverse format.
Very diverse. Well, so as the triangle goes, you got Vayu, Hero, and Frogs.
Right.
Vayu, Hero, and Frogs. That's the tri-beam right there.
Or combinations of the three.
Right.
Which is disgusting.
So I think the first thing we're going to focus on is let's walk through the RBETs. We'll walk through the YCS Raleigh.
Then
we'll talk about the YCS Rio, but we only know so far about the top two.
Right. Apparently there's a lot of issues with getting those top eights.
Right.
Even people in the community are having problems getting results from that event.
So the RBET number one, that was that February?
That would have been February.
It would have been February. Okay, so that was did it start in the North America, or is that EU?
I want to say it was a North American tournament.
Okay.
I would have to go back and look at the schedule.
It's one of those. It's
right.
either European or it's North American.
Right.
So number 8 was Frog Plants. I'm going to grab that deck list right quick. So I like this list because I like the lad inclusion, Light and Darkness Dragon.
Yeah, is that the triple lad, triple Yamana Dragon list?
No. So it's got the triple lad, triple Caius. It's got the green monarch. I forget his name.
Ryza.
You got a Titanial, basic frog. They're running the Unifrog though, so only 2 swap, 2 dupe Unifrog.
So I think that's one of the biggest differences in a lot of frog decks is whether they're deciding to main board the Unifrog or sideboard it.
That's a bit,
because
and I've seen it a lot more lately.
Yeah, you're seeing it played a lot more because they play so badly into back row.
Right.
That Unifrog gives you a way to deal with like a torrential tribute without having to play straight into it.
Right. So that I like that deck list. So number 7, Black Wings, based.
Don't even waste time looking at the list. It's exactly the same as every other list.
Well,
is he playing 2 or 3 Icarus attack?
So he's playing 3 Icarus attack.
Oh yeah, there we go. All right, now
3 Dimension Prison.
Cool, we can move on.
He is mainboarding a Compulse though. You don't always see that.
You don't always see that, but you see it enough to make sense.
So basically, it's like besides the magic and traps, those are the only things that really shift it all. And
it's really just 2 or 3 Icarus.
So Vayu can sometimes, they might run 2, they might run 1.
Right.
Once in a blue moon, you'll never see it.
Are you looking at a pure Blackwing list?
It is a pure Blackwing.
So pure Blackwings are where it matters more because it's pure.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The one thing they'll mix up is how many Vayu are played. He is running 2 books. I like the books. I think that it does kind of save you in the regard that they like to disrupt your Black Whirlwinding.
Book of Moon plays into a lot of different stuff.
It does.
Book of Moon allows you to avoid getting mirror forced. It allows you to flip something down that's indestructible and spin.
Get away from bottomless.
It's an easy way to deal with absolute 0.
It is a way to deal with that. As long as you have you could compulse it after that.
You could air in it.
You can do that. You can eat into it.
You could air in it.
You can Icarus into it.
Yeah, you can do a lot of things to an ab 0 from that.
Only side decking 1 deck dev. That is kind of interesting. So only 1 deck dev.
That makes sense. I could see that.
It's interesting that it's not main board. I know some of these are going to main board, but anyway, we'll move on. So next is
here's a question. Here's a mechanical question about the deck dev.
Okay.
Do you think you would resolve more than 1 deck dev in a game?
I have, but I don't expect to.
Right.
I don't expect to. I definitely have popped off 2 before. It's really strong against frogs. Like, deck dev is really, like Frog Monarch in particular.
Sticking them with a handful of big stuff.
And then if you've got a soul release or Kaiku or some type of graveyard removal, just get rid of the Treeborns. Like, all they'll have in hand are monarchs. At that point, you can't do that.
You can't really summon anything outside.
Well,
of that.
and their back row isn't built to like really, really protect you. It's usually some type of pop, discard,
right,
pop to steal, but you don't have a target for that anymore.
Definitely.
Right. Next is frogs. I don't have that deck list, but it's Frog Hero. I'm assuming it's
straightforward. It's Hero Frogs.
Next one is based Black Wings.
Oh, Jesus Christ! It's not based at all.
Incredibly based. This one
very unbased.
Is mainboarding the Royal Oppression.
So I see that. Especially, one of the biggest weaknesses that I see for Black Wings especially is going first.
Yes.
Because, like, say you open your Whirlwind Shura.
Right.
You're not getting your full advantage off a Whirlwind Shura in turn 1. You can +1.
You can +1.
But the goal is to +2.
The goal is to +2.
And I definitely feel like
But it also can't be disrupted, which is kind of nice.
But I definitely feel like having the Royal Oppression for going first is where that shines the most. You get to play, do your thing, kind of set yourself up, and then let them let them not play.
It depends. The one thing that Royal Oppression, at least when you're playing Black Wings, really comes into use is after you've already synchroned. Like once you've gained the value that because you to be able to special summon from hand, get all the things that you want going, and then use it as a restrictor on the opponent. Yeah, because Vayu is where it thrives. You can't, if you use it too early, it really can cripple Black Wings, because I also suffer from, any normal special, the deck special summons a lot. Blizzard special summons, Shura special summons, Gale, Bora, any synchros, all of those are Royal Oppressionable. It's only the Vayu that gets out of it, and that's not always... It's not as quick as Vayu Turbo, obviously, in getting the Vayu to do stuff.
Right.
So I do see... Now, I do like getting the Vayu out off of the Shura. Obviously, we're not talking about Royal Oppression. I like that combo a lot.
Oh, yeah, making the Vayu off the Shura.
Because then it gets you a Vayu engrave. It gets you an active tuner because it'll be a vanilla at that point.
And it gives you a synchro.
It gives you, exactly. So I do like that combo.
It gives you a potential plus 600 or a non-dark answer.
So in this one, they replaced the Book of Moons with 2 Dust Tornadoes. That's interesting to me. I don't know if I would mainboard 2 Dust Tornadoes.
So, how heavy are they in back row?
Very heavy. So 15 traps.
Dust Tornado mechanically makes a lot of sense if you're playing more traps. Because you get to set afterwards.
I can see that.
You get to activate, pop something, and set something at the same time.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Because then you can set an Icarus attack and just, on an end phase, set an Ick. And then activate it immediately.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense.
That's kind of fun. That's a fun interaction.
Right. All right. So number 5, we've got Diva Heroes. So Diva Heroes. Yeah, but it's running the Gravekeeper package. So
that's right.
With the Descendant.
Are we seeing an Arcanite Magician in the extra deck?
I don't see.
Or a Tempest Magician.
A Tempest is there.
There is a Tempest Magician.
That is an odd thing that they wouldn't run the Arcanite.
Do you have level 3 tuner? That might be the reason they're not running an Arcanite.
No.
That's why.
Only level 2 is.
That's why, because you can make Tempest, you can't make Arcanite.
That makes sense. I do like. So we were talking about this earlier with the double Gold Sarks. Yeah. I like Gold Sark. I like that. So if you're a deck that just is expecting to run through a lot of cards, I could see why you might not go with Gold Sark. If you're a heavy mill deck, I can kind of see why you might not. But I would play. I don't know. There's not many times that I would consider not playing it. I play it in Black Wings because I like being able to guarantee Black Whirlwind.
But we discussed this earlier too. You have something in particular that you're looking for.
Right.
I feel like it gets overused because it gets played in a lot of decks where you don't really have a particular target for it.
Right.
Like, for example, I play it in Cat. I play 1 copy of it in Cat, which is honestly the most based way to play Gold Sark.
I think the one thing that why people might argue that Gold Sark's not good is it sets up for your opponent to play around whatever it is you're like let's say I'm looking for Dad.
Right.
You know, if they know I'm getting dabbed, then they're really going to be paying attention to how much is in the graveyard.
I'm gonna be right, but I don't even know that Dad would ever be like the target for it.
I know I'm making that up. You know, like like even capital. So anything that's like can be burial.
Yeah.
And that's something you got to watch out for. Now, if it's a spell or a trap, that's not something that can be.
Right.
So that's why Black Whirlwind being a target kind of works out for me.
But like, you know what my targets are in Cap.
I know what you're talking
I
about.
have a few targets that are particular. It's either, depending on where we are in game, it's either the Summoner Monk,
Right.
which gives me like a plus $1 billion off of just the one card, or the Pot of Avarice, where we're a little later and I need to reset.
Right.
And so there are active targets. Any Future Fusion deck, you can Gold Star for a Future Fusion.
Right.
Because that is a particular thing that can't get stopped.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So next we've got Instant Zombies. You know,
Good deck.
Instant Zombies is good.
Good solid deck.
You know, Zombies is good in general, and I like the, you know, also running in the.
It's a very
the
high
psychics
floor.
in it.
But it's a very high floor of a deck, too. It's very complicated. Like, there are a lot of lines in the deck.
Well, it runs all the powerhouses. You got Dad, you got Trag, you got Kors, you got 3 Caius, you got a Gale, which is base.
You get all
know,
of the best cards.
And then you know, your Psychic package, and then the Zombie package. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with that kind of lineup.
Yeah,
you know,
it's hard to go bad.
It is hard to go bad with that. You know, then the 3 Book of Life, the 3 Instant Fusions. You know, there's just so much value in that.
Right.
Now it is interesting. They're running one-ofs of like the trap lineup. Like there is straight. You know, the Die Hard. You know, you got your Mirror Force, Torrential, Return, Solemn. Call the Haunted, Trap Dust Shoot, 1 Deep Prison, 1 Bottomless, and 1 Compulse. So literally, it's straight one-offs.
But you know me, man. I'm a huge fan of one-off surprise traps. I am such a fan of that shit.
Because like, look at any Blackwing list, and it's like 3 Deep Prison, 2 Bottomless, like
yeah.
2
3
like,
Icarus attack.
Well, and then even like with the Yada trap to like get the draw off of.
Yeah.
It's like they still run 2. They'll never run one of those.
Right.
Like it's always 2 ofs.
No, man, I can't do it, man. I love like the one-off answer package.
Now it is interesting that he sides the 3 like, you know, anti special summon. What's the Vanity Feeds?
Vanity Fiend.
Because you're so special summon heavy.
I think it's a situation where it helps in a brick.
Yeah.
Where like you summon it, you sit on it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's got enough beef to sit on it.
I mean, I guess it's just you're so special summon heavy, like really.
But
really special
what's
summon
interesting
heavy.
is you could normal summon a tuner and get rid of it easily too.
Yeah.
You could just normal summon or special summon a Plague Spreader, make a level 8 and keep going.
I guess it depends on what the intended matchup was. I mean, clearly
Absolutely.
it worked out well, but there, you know, whatever that intended
Frogs.
matchup was.
Again, anti-frog.
Yeah, I can see that.
It is the
and
frogs.
Frog tops so much in this that I kind of see why.
Right.
Yeah, all right. So, because speaking of frogs, Hero Frog was next. Running the
Triangle.
Evil Hero Malicious.
Fucking triangle.
Right. Running the Malicious.
Post the meme. Like make the meme on the screen.
This is another Unifrog deck. You know, running the Unifrog.
I think we're gonna see more of that going forward.
You know, but running some back row. You know, he is so the Dust Shoot, Mirror Force, Torrential. You got a Deep Prison, and then you know the kind of more expected ones. But you don't often see a whole lot of back row.
You don't see a lot of background frog decks.
And then siding everything else. You know, another 2 Deep Prison, another 2 Compulse, 2. You got the what else is in there? The Needle Ceiling. Got a lot of traps going in there. Which you don't really expect to see with frogs. But
right.
Everything else is kind of to be expected.
Pretty straightforward.
And then first place, Vayu. Very, very base. This list kind of interests me. We were talking about this earlier with the running 2 Sirocco. I would never run 2 Sirocco. I clearly he did good because he's putting the Caius in his place. That is the change up.
That's base.
You're either running 3 Sirocco with 2 Caius or running 2 Sirocco with 3 Caius.
That's based.
I don't know. I just see my whole opinion on this is when you're coming down to game-saving draws, you brick on that Caius. But if you get the Sirocco, is like not only do you have a body on field, but then if you've got what to make an armed wing, then you got a 4300 OBer.
So here's kind of my thought on it. So if you're in a situation like that, just having a Caius in hand with 2 Vayus and a Sirocco engraved means you get to not only make the Caius, but also make the Armor Master.
Oh, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
You get to come out with both.
It in the grave,
you get to come out with both, and that seems really strong.
That's not a bad point.
Yeah, that because then you're going plus like 4.
I like the because I was even one that was running the 3 Sirocco and then even like an Elfin at one point because I like to see them early.
I have a question. Why does Vayu not run Return from a different dimension?
It does.
Does it?
It does. He's running it.
He's running it.
You know, I run it. I think if you're not, because one thing that works really well with Return is stacking Siroccos.
Yes.
Because you can stack everything on one and then do that again.
That's
and
funny.
Stack everything on the other. When you have 2 Sirocco off of Return, you have an enormous beater. Because it like grabs everything more than once.
You're over 5,000 at that point.
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
If they're banished, you probably have 2 Vayus coming back too.
Absolutely right. You got
You got like over 5,000 damage
right.
coming straight to your face.
Exactly. So I do enjoy that. Outside of that, he's no charge. That's kind of interesting.
No charge.
No charge. He's running the 2 hamsters. But it is interesting. So like no Lilas or anything, just the Raikou.
I think Lila's a lot stronger than Hamster in that slot at this very second.
I run the hamsters. I want to say I run Lila and a charge. I want to say I don't. Oh, he is mainboarding deck dev though. I do like the mainboard.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, mainboard a deck dev because I will say running 2 deck dev in Vayu makes sense to me.
I support that.
But he is running less Sirocco, so I mean running. Main decking 1 makes a bit of sense. Two Greffer, 2 Armageddon, which is just I think that's right. I don't think going 3 is ever the answer.
I'm more likely to consider 3 Knight over 3 Greffer. I think.
Yeah. So if you're going 3, I think that's true.
I'm more likely to consider 3 Knight over 3 Greffer.
I just think and. I know I'm not alone on this, but I think 2-2 is the way. I don't think you run 3.
You don't run 3?
I don't think so, because you don't...
Oh, you're also
running Rhoda is like running
Rhoda.
another... Right. So, I mean, at some point, you don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah, there's a time and place. It has its time and place.
Right. Especially when you're running 3 Caius, you don't have to see that.
True.
Okay, so now let's go... So that was the top of the first RBET,
So now that we've talked about, in pretty good length, heroes, frogs, and blackwings, I think we can blaze through them pretty quick unless there's something really specific.
Unless there's something specific.
Right.
Now, we haven't seen Christius Warren, so...
Exactly. So any
we'll
other deck we can talk about.
Alright, so let's jump into... Let's grab this.
Since we kind of got the idea for all the basics.
Right. Just make sure I got the right list here. Okay. Hold on, let me make sure. Because I think I mixed. So yeah, so the top 8 was the first 8 place with Christius Sworn was right after Dragon Turbo. Okay, so here's the Christius Sworn. Pretty standard, it's one of the 3 wolves though. That is interesting.
In the Christius one?
Yeah, you don't often see.
You don't see wolves
in
the Christius one all the time.
That is kind of interesting.
That is an interesting idea, especially considering it's such a heavy brick.
And only 2 heralds instead of the 3.
And that's also a take for sure.
I guess it's 'cause he might be running less fairies.
That is my problem is if you're running Christia, why the fuck wouldn't you want to run all the fairies?
See, I subscribe to that. It's very light sworn heavy. It's very because obviously got the wolves, the 3 Raikou, the 3 Lila.
I think
the 2, the one Jane.
Is he running Dialk at all? Dimensional Alchemist?
No.
No D out.
That's kind of common in a Christia Sworn.
Oh, it makes sense to not run it in Christia.
Like, if you're going Chaos Fairies or just, like, traditional fairies, you'll see the D out. But,
because you may not always hit a fairy off of it.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. Is it running the Shire? Is it running Shire?
No, I don't see it.
That's also an odd decision, being that it's a light
3
sworn.
consecrated in the sideboard.
I'm surprised we're not running 3 in the fucking main board.
Like, well, it is just and then so sideboard's kind of interesting. So 2 Lightning Vortex, 1 My Body, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 Soul Release. That's kind of interesting.
All of this makes sense. I see all of it.
It's just not. It's not common to see that.
It's a very matchup based sideboard though.
And then 2. So mainboarding 2 Gold Sarks. So yeah, Gold Sark seeing your return.
So do you see a particular target in the main board that would be a Gold Sark?
I mean, unless you're grabbing.
Is there an obvious
JD
choice?
or Christia?
JD makes sense. Christia makes sense.
sense.
Although JD doesn't see a whole lot of time in Christia Sworn decks either, because he's just outclassed.
Really, possibly, but it's very heavy life Sworn in this set. So I mean, I see JD being a target because they're running the charge, they're running the 3 solars.
Did they drop the Soul of Purity and Light?
Yes.
The level 5 fairy, they dropped it. Interesting choice.
It is a very interesting deck.
I would consider trying that one.
It's interesting. You know, I would consider giving it a try. Next, we've got it was Dragon Turbo, very traditional Dragon Turbo, not really anything to be surprised about.
anything spicy going on.
Right. I do like seeing it though. It is nice to see Dragon Turbo.
I like seeing the deck.
I enjoy that deck.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool deck. I like it.
Next, we've got Evil Hero Dark Gaia, another deck that I like to see.
Incredibly based.
I haven't seen it since the second RBET, so this would have been early March. I think this was the North American.
It did top a Peak of the Beak though. Did win a smaller tournament that Edison.com put on.
Okay. It's running Big Piece Golem. That's
so hot.
That's interesting.
That's so hot.
It's the rock, and then you have the 2 legendary.
What is
fighters.
the effect of Big Piece Golem? I actually do not know offhand, and I'm about to Google it.
Look it up.
We can all
I'm not certain.
We can edit so we can cut this out if we want.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now I'm curious, but I'm gonna read this shit because I don't know what it does. Big Piece. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can normal summon this card without tribute.
That's fine. I don't think it's a bulky rock. I kind of saw it.
It's also like a pseudo Cyber Dragon, and it does Dark Gaia. It does give you access to the Dark Gaia. That makes hella sense, actually. Actually, that makes hella sense. Yeah.
So going 2 Evil Hero Malicious, I like that. Main board and a Snowman. That's kind of interesting. And a DD Warrior.
It's a very slow deck. It's a very slow the game deck.
Right. So Snowman, DD Warrior Lady main board. I like that.
Incredibly based. Yeah, incredibly good.
Siding looks pretty standard side for it. But a lineup of fusions. You know, you got the 3 Ab Zeros, 2 Dark Gaia, you know, what's the Mole fusion?
Oh,
the Neos Mole fusion.
Yeah, Grand Mole. The Grand Mole. The one that makes Grand Mole, or made with Grand Mole.
Right. Terra Firma. I like seeing Terra Firma.
It's Grand Neos.
Grand Neos. Now what's interesting is I don't know how he makes. Oh, he's got prisms. He's got Prismas in an ocean. Yeah, that's
dude, Prisma's such a cool card.
Prisma is really
Did
cool.
you see the what are they cooking on the Prisma deck that played all the all the blue Burst Stream of Destruction and fucking 1,000 Knives?
That's so funny.
Or no, Dark Magic Attack.
Dark Magic Attack?
Yeah, main boarded Dark Magic Attack.
That sounds so funny.
Because like you could dump it off of one of the fusions with Prisma and then just like Burst Stream of Destruction random
so
stuff.
Cool. I like that idea. I do like that idea.
Incredibly based. Incredibly in like just a complete swap of what is expected.
Alright, so that's a cool list. I like that list.
It's cool list, cool list.
Alright, so let's see. Next we've got Diva Heroes.
Anything spicy, anything extra?
Pretty
Pretty straightforward.
Two Gold Stars. I always like seeing Gold Star because I'm a Gold Star fan.
Gold Star's fine.
Snowman main board's kind of nice. I like
Actually,
Snowman.
Gold Star for Miracle Fusion, and that makes sense. There's a
It
target.
makes sense.
There's a target.
It makes sense. Absolutely. Mainboard Snowman's kind of cool.
Oh, Future Fusion also is in that deck probably.
Yep, Future Fusion's in
So
that. That's another target.
So early game is Few, late game is Miracle Fusion.
Everything else is pretty standard, so we'll just move on from there. Vayu Turbo's next. Obviously, the best deck.
Are they running 3 Grapher?
No!
Yeah, that's what I
So,
thought.
2 Grapher, 2 Armor, 3 Sirocco base, 3 Sirocco. No, so this is also a common change-up. So it's the 3 Raikou to 1 Hamster, and if they're running 1 Hamster, they're running a charge. I do see that being the counter. If you're running 2 Hamster, you don't run charge. If you run 1 Hamster, you run charge.
But like, charge does so much more. But it also wastes your normal summon. So like, with the Hamster, you get to set it immediately. It's cool. And
Right, and then it gets
but you lose the extra. But you lose the extra mill.
It is faster to run charge. It's faster.
It is faster to run charge.
Charge is faster. I'll agree with that.
I think it depends on whether you want to play a slower game or a faster game.
Mainboarding 2 deck depths.
Interesting.
That's really interesting.
Do you think that's the first thing that gets sided out? Like that's the first.
I would say Dust Shoot gets decided out first.
Sure.
I'll always go by that.
There's an immediate obvious choice in a lot of matchups though is to side out the deck devastations. Just depending on what you're playing against.
It depends.
Right, but it's matchup based.
Honestly, side deck is kind of based. So side deck, they got 2 Cyber Dragons, 2 DD Crows, 2 Dinos, a Breaker, a Kaiku.
Ooh.
3 Pulling the Rug, 3 Dust Tornadoes, and then the second Royal Oppression. That's spicy. So Breaker's okay. I like Breaker. It's okay. I see the purpose. It's like a Lila kind of, at least in its intention, but can still swing. Kaiku's great.
Well,
Kaiku's a great card.
So I think you're undervaluing what Breaker does. Being a normal summon that's 1900 is essentially like the standard in the format for being like the best normal summon possible.
That's fair.
Think about how many level 4 1900 attackers there are that have really good effects. Thunder King.
Yeah, Thunder King.
Volcanic Rocket.
Yeah.
Doom Caliber Knight.
Yeah.
Basically any of the Gravekeepers if Necro Valley's out.
Right.
Right. And also they have 2000 defense, so that's a big deal too. But there are a list of normal summons at 1900 attack in the format. Oh, Cactus Bouncer. There are a bunch of them. We'd have to go back and make a list.
Right.
But yeah. Oh shit! I can fucking do that now. I can look.
No return. That is interesting.
No return.
No return.
That very very uncouth.
That is interesting.
Very uncouth.
I wouldn't have expected that.
More options. Monster. Edison. Level 4. And attack less than equal to. That's greater than equal to. Less than equal to 1900. Okay, yeah, there's a bunch. So, Alien Shock Trooper, Assault Beast, Aztecapede's in there, Doom Caliber Knight, Flammable Fire Dog, Berserk Gorilla is at 2000.
You're gonna get everything above.
Yeah, which is fine. Oh, yeah, I can just put it here too.
Still a lot.
Neos Alias.
That's right.
Spear Dragon, Slate Warrior, Skill Dark Magician, all the Koaki Merus.
Yeah.
Fucking Vorse Raider, my boy. But it's like a standard for where the attack needs to be for a generic normal monster.
Right.
Or for a generic normal summon.
Alright, so third place at the RBET 2 was Hero Frog. Running a Bubble Man.
Running Bubble Man.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I'm
a fan.
I'm kind of cool. I'm kind of cool with that.
I'm a fan. Evil Hero Malicious makes a field again.
Oh, Destiny Hero Malicious. Mally.
Yeah, everything else seems pretty
straightforward. For bog
Oh, it's got that
standard.
sea server thing. That's right. It's got that sea server. I don't remember what it does. It is a strange card that no one ever plays.
Which card?
I it's a sea serpent guy that's in the sideboard that it's an old card. No one ever uses it, but it's actually really interesting.
What did I say? You said it's on the side?
Yeah.
Oh, it's I know the card. Fuck, I want the card. Fuck. Effect. Should Sea Serpent?
Yeah, it's a sea serpent. 2 super polys.
Oh, it's
Where's he at? This guy. Armed Sea Hunter.
Oh yeah.
after damage calculation, if this card battles an effect monster, negate the effect of that monster, including in the graveyard.
That's really
You
good.
must control another face-up water monster. If this would be destroyed, you can destroy one face-up level 3 or lower water monster you control instead.
That's really good.
That is really good. And
I like
1800 attack, which is a really solid number for a normal summon.
All right, so number 2 is another Christia Sworn deck. This is a much more traditional, much more what I would have expected the one earlier to be. 3 heralds, lots of fairy targets. The one that can banish the 2 in the graveyard and special summon.
Yeah.
2 hamsters, charge, 3 solars, which is just kind of normal. This is a good deck. I like this one.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
First place, you'll never guess.
Liar.
Viator was first place. Of course. 3 Sirocco, love to see it. Again, the 1 hamster, 1 charge combo, 1 hamster, 1 charge.
Oh yeah, we've
Running
discussed
41 cards though.
What's the 41st card?
31st is an Icarus attack. Because you don't usually play that in
How many icks are they running? Because I know
just one.
just the one ick.
Yeah,
Although it makes sense.
That's the 41st card.
Although it makes sense because there are a lot of situations in which value ends up with a value in hand, and
Yeah.
it gives you something to do with it because you
Some
can set
value.
it and still do it, which is
Right,
which
some
I
value.
don't even understand. That, by the way.
right.
Makes no sense.
See, I didn't even know about that until it was pointed out.
I didn't even that ruling makes no sense to me. Like I understand that it's the real ruling, but it makes no
Right.
fucking sense.
Yeah, it is a little strange.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. All right.
Oh.
So and first we got a Hero Frog list. So this is the 8th place deck in the 3rd RBET. 1 Battle Fader. It's kind of interesting. Unifrog play. Everything else is pretty standard. The 1 Battle Fader is just an interesting throw in.
I like it though.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Siding a Sirocco is interesting. They got a single Sirocco on the sideboard.
That's something we innovated not that long ago.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
be
yeah,
fair.
yeah. That's fair.
It's probably one of our friends.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm liking that. All right, 7th place, Vayu Turbo. Oh, similar deck list. 41 cards.
Icarus attack.
No, this one's the Trap Dust Shoot. 41st Trap Dust Shoot.
Let's see. What else looks Well, normally we play the Trap Dust Shoot normally, right?
Normally it does.
They have the return.
Yeah, return.
And BrainCon.
Yeah.
BrainCon makes sense though. I get a BrainCon. That's removal. That's removal in this deck anyway.
Right.
Between being able to synchro it off and also being able to like use it for a chaos or something.
Right.
Yeah, it seems bog standard. Oh, is he running charge?
No charge. He's running 2 hamsters.
The 2 hamsters. I saw the
He's
2
running
hamsters. I was curious to see if it had a charge.
Yeah, 2 hamsters instead. Yeah, everything else looks pretty normal.
Bog standard.
Yeah. Mind Crush on the side is kind of interesting. Oh, Glad Beast, 6th place.
Oh yeah.
Glad Beast.
Yeah, that's important.
Um,
Double War Chariot.
Double War Chariot. I like the running the Widespread Ruins is nice. It gets around to Taniel.
Mainboarding Hoplimus as well. Mainboarding the thick one.
Yep.
The defensive guy.
Let's see. He's very trap heavy. Almost 20 traps. Very trap.
Yeah, Hoplimus says if this card was special by the effect of a Glad Beast monster, its original defense becomes 2,400. And at the end of the battle phase, if this card attacked or was attacked, shuffle it back in.
Triple Wabaku is interesting. So this is very, very reactive. You know, lots of counters, 3 Book of Moons.
We talked about this one too. The Wabakus allow their bounce effects to still go off without them being destroyed.
Roar. Right.
Because T-Roar is at the beginning of the main phase.
Right.
And it doesn't allow the attacks.
It clearly worked. I remember I did watch a lot of his duels that day. And he just very, very strong player. He really outed the matchups really well. He was very prepared for Vayu. A couple of Vayu matches, you know, a lot of times he went to 3 games.
Yeah.
But he just really, really plays the deck and just knows what to play against, what to sign in. So he is a very good player.
That really is like the sign of a good player, though, is that they're able to take a deck that they know very well and do well with it no matter what it is.
Right. Next is Diva Hero Zombie.
That makes sense.
I like Diva Hero Zombie.
I'm with that.
I like Diva Hero Zombie.
Well, this is the ideal deck to turn into a 60-card Lightsworn pile.
The extra or the side deck is very interesting. So he's got the Breaker, 1 Consecrated, 1 Dyna, 1 Snowman.
Yeah, this is
1 Lightning Vortex, 1 Prohibition, 1 Soul Release, 2 Ultimate Offerings.
So
1 the Tribute Mask.
Oh, Master Restrict.
Master Restrict. 2 you can't activate trap cards.
Imperial Iron Wall.
Imperial Order, no Imperial Order.
Imperial Order is the one that's banned.
Oh, is it really? Okay. 1 Mind Crush, 1 Trap Stun.
So what? I bet if you look at the main board, there are a lot of one-off answers too. I bet he has a lot of one-offs.
He's got some one-offs. He's got some one-offs.
And my question is...
He's got more than I would expect. Well, because this isn't Hero for All. He's not playing for all. This is Diva Zombies.
Here's the other thing. If he's running not only a lot of one-ofs in the main board, are any of the one-ofs in the side completed pairs in the main?
No.
Interesting.
No, it's a lot of one-offs.
Interesting.
It's a really interesting deck list. I kind of like it. Next, traditional Blackwing. Get some traditional Blackwing action. Was this 4?
How many Icarus is he running?
3.
3.
Well, in traditional Blackwings, you'll run 3. Only 2 Deep Prisms, though.
I've seen a lot of debate about whether you run 2 or 3 in traditional, though.
I normally run 3.
I'm sure, but like there have been a lot of lists that have topped more recently.
It looks like they switched it with Book. So the 3rd Deep Prism went with Book.
Which makes sense.
Because they're also main boarding Brain Control.
I actually like a Book.
I like a Book. He's got the Royal Oppression in there. He's got the Royal Oppression. Everything else is standard. Still 2 value. There hasn't been a standard Blackwing list yet with less than or more than 2 value. So 2 value seems just kind of the same.
I think like 2,
I run 1.
2's probably your standard at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know. I use that space for something else. Next is Christia Sworn. Christia Sworn seeing more play. This is the one with 3 wolves. The wolves is interesting. I don't normally associate running wolf in Christia Sworn. It's not that you can't. It's just I don't normally do that.
We talked about this too with the other Christia Sworn deck. Was like he was running the triple wolf because he was a lot heavier into Lightsworn.
A lot heavier than the last one setup.
Is that one heavier into the fairy end?
Yeah. I would say it is.
Okay.
I would say it is. Let's see. And then second place, Amaryllis. Amaryllis seeing the first Amaryllis on the list.
Base.
The third RBET.
Best deck in the game.
Running the. I like the 2 Miracle Fertilizers.
Best deck in the game.
Miracle Fertilizer's really good.
Cracked.
Not so trap heavy. But a little more than what we were putting in yours.
Yeah.
1. So no quick draws.
No quick draws.
Yeah, no quick draws. 1 dragon.
Mm.
So it's got the one off of that. But everything else seems pretty standard. No hamsters, but he is running the charge.
Of course.
Yeah. And then no, everything else makes sense.
Everything else is pretty straightforward.
It's a good ammo deck. I always liked it.
Base Amarillo.
It's hard to play. And then first place, traditional Black Wings. Monsters set up as normal. No run and brain combat. No books. 3X. Interesting. So instead of the third Deep Prison, he put in a Dust Tornado.
I like it.
3 of the legacies. 3 legacies.
I like that too. I'm kind of okay with it.
I do know that they're using it for a lot of baits.
It's just so wild.
Baiting out back row removal.
Absolutely.
And then just getting the draw off of.
Yeah, if it doesn't get if it gets removed, it's whatever. If it doesn't, you get to draw a card.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like either way seems pretty okay.
And then just the side one, a Mind Crush, which is interesting. Mind Crush is an interesting
Is Compulse in the main board?
No.
Is Dust Shoot in the main board?
Yes.
So
and then the deck dev on the side. The deck dev can get
with information you can Mind Crush
right.
a lot more easily.
Right.
The deck dev makes the Mind Crush easier.
Right. One Soul Release. I like Soul Release.
Big fan.
Yeah. No GD Crows. Interesting.
No crows on the side.
No crows on the side.
That is odd.
Yeah, he's going the 2 sides.
Bro was confident.
Yeah,
Bro was
pretty
confident.
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 He got first place. So
yeah, you know what? Fair enough.
Yeah, if you can do that.
Don't take my criticism. I did not take first place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So I don't have the YCS deck list, but we'll just go through what top.
Yeah, because I mean it's pretty box standard, isn't it?
Right.
This is Raleigh, right?
Right. So Raleigh.
This is fucking Raleigh.
We'll start from 8 and go down. We got Vayu Turbo, Diva Hero, Amaryllis.
Up based.
Amaryllis.
We got 2 tops this year, so
right. Diva Hero, Vayu Turbo, Machina Turbo, and then Vayu. So 4 Vayu. And
yeah, we don't
Raleigh.
need the deck lists.
Oh, I'm sure that a lot of spice.
Most importantly, shout out to Josh for that top
Diva
8,
Hero. Shout out to
for
Josh.
that top 8, my boy.
Right, very very proud of the homeboy. You know, I know he worked hard for that
Good
win.
player, accomplished player.
No, he worked hard for that win.
He did.
And
I guarantee he did.
Absolutely.
God damn, so many birds.
Then what? YCS Rio. We got the first 2, so second place Vayu Turbo. Let's go Vayu making another
disgusting.
Top. And then Flip Dragons.
Oh, the Disaster Dragon.
Disaster Dragon.
So we do need to talk about this deck. So if we can pull up the deck list on this one. He is mainboarding number 1, 3 red meds, 3 Wyvern, 3 Wyvern.
3 Wyvern is interesting.
That is a wild choice.
3 Wyvern is interesting.
And 3 DD Warrior Lady.
Right.
That is the biggest answer into anything
DD Warrior Lady is interesting.
that is unremovable. DD Warrior Lady says no.
I think that's an interesting choice. You know, I have played just really the traditional Turbo.
Yeah.
Where it's just kind of straight dragons.
But
so running the 3
the
DD
lady
Warrior Lady is really
the lady makes so. Oh.
All right, back to it. All right, so we just finished going over all the tournaments and the topping decks. So now we're going to transition into a little bit of Jank.
So what we tend to do is we tend to try to build things that aren't being seen or haven't been seen yet.
Right.
If we notice something cool, but more importantly than that, trying to make things that are offbeat but playable.
Right.
Makes it hard to side, especially in locals tournaments. It makes it hard to understand necessarily what you're playing against if you're playing against something you don't know what it does.
Well, it's more fun for local settings versus
right.
Going to a
Gives you a little more freedom with how you want to play things and what cards you want to play.
Now my deck is what I was taking to the regionals and stuff. So
yeah.
It is something that I was taking to be competitive. But then, the Norlaris by Turbo is not something I would.
Right.
That's more just for fun deck.
I don't know about fun. Fun seems like not the first.
Fun for me.
Seems like not the first adjective I would use now.
No, fun for me.
Yeah, it's fun for you, maybe.
All right, so why don't you get them a taste of your insect deck,
so,
and then I can take them right through my 2.
All right, fair enough. We'll start there. With the list here, I can show you, but I'll send you a screenshot of this so we can talk about it. You know, you can post it up in the video or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I noticed is that number one, the insect type has like 4 floaters.
Mm-hmm.
You got stuff like Pinch Hopper that allows you to special summon an insect monster from your hand.
Right.
If it's sent from the field to the graveyard. Or no, just sent to your graveyard. So you can dump it off Future Fusion or a Foolish Burial and still trigger its effect.
That's pretty good.
And things like Howling Insect, when it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 insect monster with 15 less attack from your deck.
Okay, you have a Searcher. Okay.
Pretty cool, yeah. It's all the floaters. There's also another one, there's Gokipon, there are a few others. But what's stupid about insects in Edison is that their biggest boss monster, Doomdozer, when it's big, and it's a special summonable monster, that's really easy to special summon, but it sucks. You banish 2 insects, you get this 2800 attack beater that when it does damage, it mills 2 off your opponent's deck.
Interesting.
It's really bad because Edison, you know,
Yeah,
we love our graveyard
decks.
play.
Yeah, right. A lot of decks.
We
like
love
that
our
mill.
graveyard play. So what I did instead of that is just crammed it full of monarchs.
Right.
Because this makes way more sense. This
I can
gives
see that.
us effective boss monsters that are strong removal
Yeah.
and also easy to summon. Because we are running things like Treeborn Frog. And we're running shit like Level Eater.
Right.
So
right.
what's cool is that like you can, if you have a Caius, you have a Mobius, you have a Dark Dust Spirit, you can summon the Level Eater off of this.
Right.
And just give yourself more and more and more and more advantage by generating your +1s off the Treeborn Frogs and your +1s off the Level Eaters. You know, mill package just because we have a pretty consistent draw package.
2 pots of Avarice.
Pot of Avarice allows us to kind of recycle all of our pieces. It allows us to recycle our Howling Insects, our Pinch Hoppers, all of our Light Sworn packages, Gigantes, things of that nature.
2 Royal Oppressions. Interesting.
So
You're going more traditional Monarch.
So what's interesting about this deck is it doesn't rely on any sort of real special summoning.
Except for your tutors.
The biggest special summons that we have are Treeborn Frog, Level Eater, and that's really it.
Your Searchers.
Yeah, but by the time this is relevant, I'm not flipping this if this is on board.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so, but we do have a lot of really strong normal summons.
Mm-hmm.
So Koakumara Beetle, kind of, you know, it's the best of the worst normal summon beaters for the deck. It's able to be summoned off the Pinch Hopper,
Right.
which is kind of good. And so that's kind of a neat little interaction. Plus, it gives a little more control into things that run a little faster.
Right.
Other than that, being able to mainboard Lightning Vortex is very strong.
Yeah, not only just 1, 2 of them.
We're able to mainboard a pair of Lightning Vortex.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
good.
we don't suffer off of that.
Right.
Other than that, everything else is pretty straightforward. We do run my traditional Aaron in the sideboard. If I'm running Lilas and I'm running Charge, I'm running an Aaron. Because this
I like
matches
Aaron.
up into a lot of things better.
I like
You know,
Aaron.
Hamster Ryko decks, hate
Right.
to see this card.
Right.
Soul Release, the second a Vanity's Fiend. Just as a backup plan, it can swap out into the Mobius for non-back row decks.
2 Soul Release is interesting.
A pair of Soul Release just because I was playing against you.
Yeah.
We were I was testing this against you, and this turns value off.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's the only reason.
That's fair.
Extra decks, whatever. We don't really run any tuners anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But yeah, overall, this is kind of what we've been playing with.
That's not bad.
There's a lot of.
I'll be interested to see how it plays.
You've played against it.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, that's my game.
Once you get it in paper.
This is my innovation. This is what I've been innovating on.
It's pretty interesting.
What'd you bring to the table that's new today?
Okay, so I've got 2 deck lists I'm going to talk about. So the first, I call it Counterweight, because I'm the Bird Master. The Bird Master William. And so Counterwings is a semi-standard Blackwing list with just an absolutely ridiculous amount of counter traps.
Seems legit.
And why I like counter traps is a lot of Blackwing value is in little interactions, like on the summon, with a Black Whirlwind, on attack with a Shura, on a special summon with one another, on a Blizzard summon. Those little interactions generate so much value for Blackwings that the last thing you want to do is have an interruption. But what's better is with countering it, I outspeed you. So you can't like double chain against me.
Yeah.
And so like when I'm swinging with a Shura, and you activate like a Deep Prison, well, I have outs to that, and I've got responses to that. And so I'm going to walk you through the deck list. I also am a little unorthodox with my spells, but we'll get to that. So first, 1 Bayou, 3 Blizzard, 1 Gale, 3 Kalut, 3 Bora, 3 Shura, and 3 Sirocco. So that's the monsters. Went a little less. Spells, we got the basic lineup with Heavy Storm, MST, Allure, 2 Black Whirlwinds, and then I want a Pot of Avarice. So my only draws are Allure and Pot of Avarice, but to compensate, I want 2 Gold Sarks. So I am running the 2 Gold Sarks. So I typically will grab the Black Whirlwind.
Wow, yeah, okay, so that's your target normally.
Right.
So in a situation where you've gone through your whirlwinds already, what is your third option as a target?
If that happens, I would probably grab, I don't know, Blizzard maybe? Something to just generate value off of. I could see a Kalut perhaps, but a Blizzard would probably be my first choice. Just because, it immediately is a straight level 6.
Right.
Alright, so for traps, I got the 3 Deep Prisons, 1 Bottomless. So I'm only going 1 Bottomless in the main board. I'm gonna get through the first ones where I'll get my counter ones. So I got the Mirror Force, Trap Dust Shoot, 1 Royal Oppression in the main board, and then this is all counters from here out. Besides the 2 Starlights, I still count those as counters.
Right.
It's Starlights. I run double Starlights.
Sure.
Dark Illusion is very, very, very underrated. Dark Illusion is the no spells, traps, or monster effects that target a dark monster, which is everything I have. So it covers all the bases. It has to target. So if it's a board wipe, that is different. But having a negate to any target, regardless of what it is, to a dark monster, really, really underrated. Solemn Judgment, of course. Gotta roll with Solemn Judgment.
Of course.
Horn of Heaven. I like Horn of Heaven.
So go through the effects of Horn and Black Horn real quick.
Okay, so Horn of Heaven is you tribute a monster, and it will outright negate any normal, flip, or special summon. So because it has that 1 cost, it covers any summon. So it's out to a Caius, it's out to a Dad, it's out to anything like that that special summons itself, like a Chaos Sorcerer, any Monarch, any Tribute summon, any Flip summon, anything like that.
It's a spot that's like
it's a spot.
It's almost like a pulling the rug.
Well, yeah, a little bit,
but it's more versatile for the
more versatile.
Does it negate and destroy?
Yes, negate and destroy. So the Black Horn of Heaven is specific to special summons, but it's costless. So it any synchro, any inherent special summon, it'll immediately outright destroy and negate the summon. So you don't get priority. So if you were going for Chaos Sorcerer, try to declare priority to pop something, I can immediately just turn it off and get rid of it.
Right, it's counter trap it results first.
Right. 2 Dark Bribes. I like my Dark Bribes because being able to run into and then outright deny a spell or trap that targets outside of Dark Illusion. So I got multiples. The Dark Bribes are for spells and traps, but so is Dark Illusion. I can also do that with the Solemn Judgment. I've got options. And if it's a board wipe, that's what Starlight Road will come out in hand for. So outright, the immediate counters, Dark Illusion, Solemn Judgment, Horn of Heaven, 2 Black Horn of Heavens, 2 Dark Bribes, 2 Starlight Roads. In the main board. So sideboard, 3 DD Crows.
Yep.
I like DD Crow. very, very counter heavy. Book of Moon, Lightning Vortex, Divine Wrath. Divine Wrath. My third Dark Bribe. 2 Massive Restrict. My second Bottomless. 2 Deck Devs. 2 Pulling the Rugs, and my second Royal Oppression. So very, very control heavy. Because the Black Wings generate so much value, and you being able to protect yourself to guarantee that value.
Yeah,
guarantee that +1, that +2. It goes so well with Black Wings that it's almost the perfect thing to put counters in.
Right.
Extra deck. I got my 2 Armed Wings, 2 Armor Masters, Ascended. Ally just a Cataster, Magical Android. I got the Brianna, Goyo, double Stardust because I'm doing Starlight Rune. Black Rose Dragon, Darkened Dragon, Thought Ruler, and Red Archfiend for frogs.
Okay. Makes sense.
So all in all, and I have had really good work with this deck. Like even against like a Flame Bell and stuff like that. Turn off the Rekindling.
So some of your infinitely worse matchups.
Oh, absolutely. All right, and then the second deck I want to talk about is a personal favorite of mine. That's my competitive deck. The one I just talked about is one that I like taking to be a little more competitive. This one's just straight fun, and it's a fun deck. Is a Vayu Turbo Norlaris deck.
Disgusting.
Or as I like to call it, Norialis.
Norialis.
So from here on out, I will be referring to it as Norialis. But it is Scotch Coalition Norlaris. Okay, so hear me out. 3 Vayu, 3 Sirocco, 3 Raikou, 3 Lila, an Aaron, Card Trooper, Plague Spreader, Necrogardna, Gorse, and then 3 Norlaris, 3 Phantom of Chaos, 3 Dark Creator.
Yeah, it seems legit. Seems pretty good.
So like I like running a pretty thick 7-card Lightsworn package, because then I can run for the spells. I can do Light Brigade, 3 Solar Recharges. You got a good bit of level 8s because your level 8s are your Norlarises and your Dark Creators.
Don't be Norialis.
Norialis. So that way you get your trade-ins. So trade-ins.
Norialis and trade-in go hand in hand.
3 Upstarts, because Upstart's it's Upstart.
Yeah.
2 Hand Destruction. I do like the 2 Hand Destruction. It does often come in handy.
It comes in handy.
And then Allure of Darkness and Card Destruction.
Yeah.
I like dumping that hand really good. Like that game we played earlier, that turn 1, I was already through 3/4 of the deck.
Yeah, but then you decked yourself.
Well, yeah, because I didn't see any Norialis. You really want to see that Norialis.
Then you deck yourself out.
Okay, so let's go to the sideboard. So sideboard, well, actually, for people that don't know, the whole point of this deck is Phantom Chaosing your Norialis.
Your Norialis, yeah.
Right. Because
read Norlaris, because some people are not going to be familiar with this card.
Okay. So Norialis says this card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned, except by removing from play 1 light type monster, light fairy, light fairy, and 3 dark fiend type monsters in your graveyard. Then you must pay 1,000 life points to send all cards on the field, and in both players' hands to the graveyard. Then you draw a card. So it basically dumps everything, hand, field, everything into the graveyard, and then you draw a card. So the inherent value is just giving your opponent 0 resources, and then you play out of your graveyard. So get your value combos going off, get your play going because you got a card in hand now.
Yeah, and you have other things.
The best possible out is top decking Dark Creator. If you can top Dark Creator off of that Norialis, you are sitting pretty.
You're sitting comfortably. Phantom of Chaos allows you to copy that effect, though. It allows you to banish it from grave and then copy its effect. It's essentially just a way to cheat the effect out.
Correct.
And so I think that's an important point to make, is that you're not You're not organically summoning this thing.
Right. I don't. At one point, like on Dueling Book, I have a deck where I have the out to organically make it.
Yeah.
Because the one thing I run into is if you're ready for like negating or destroying the Phantom token or Phantom of Chaos rather before I get to do, because the problem is priority gets me the ability to get the other ability. Priority does not get me the ability of the other card, like to use it.
Right.
And that's the problem. It's because Phantom of Chaos just banishes to get its ability.
Right.
So I could do that, but then if you pop it, I don't get to use the ability.
You can do that all you want, but like even if you like Book of Moon it,
Right.
it resets it. So like even if you were able to flip it back up, it would still be just Phantom of Chaos.
Right.
And that's important, I think, is that Book of Moon comes up again as the out to this problem.
Yeah, I'd have to wait until the next turn, and that would be a pain in the neck.
That would be awful, and that's betting that you even have another one engraved to exile or to banish.
True, very very true.
You could use it to counter to copy Dark Creator though.
Yeah,
And use it to cheat cards for Dark Creator.
I was considering at one point running Dad because I could copy Dad and then get the pop ability.
Yeah.
Because I'd have a ton of darks in the grave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that way you wouldn't have to worry about managing your darks
Right.
necessarily. You could just Phantom of Chaos him.
But this deck is a lot heavier in the lights because of the Light Swarm package. That it just does. I didn't have as many targets that
Right.
I would want for that.
Right.
But I like this build. It's very fast. You really get through a lot of the deck really quickly. So now to the side deck, I'm running 2 Cyber Dragons. Yeah, the MST, Trunade, Cold Wave, Heavy Storm. So just all the, all those are in the side. Burial, got Burial on the side. 2 deck devs, a Trap Stun, Solemn Judgment, Torrential, Mirror Force, Return, and then a Ruin Crush. So just
seems legit.
Yeah, just kind of covering all the bases. And then the side is just kind of typical of a turbo.
Yeah, it's just value
turbo deck. I mean, because that's all.
It's value turbo. It's value turbo plus the funny nuke.
Right. Yeah, I like the funny nuke. It's good. It pisses people off, and that's like half the fun, right?
Well, honestly, I think I got everything I wanted to talk about out of the way.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of covered it. I definitely think that I have really enjoyed this Counter Wings list. I'm and I've played it enough to really get good with the matchups and what to cycle in. Like the Master Restricts, really those have come in
That's
so
such a strong
handy.
card.
So handy.
I finally picked one up.
Did you really? It's a great
I
card.
finally have one.
It is a really good card, and it really comes in handy.
Well, with all these fucking frogs everywhere.
Right. Well, and just how much. I mean, Caius is such a staple. Caius is so good that everyone has Caius.
Yeah.
Every deck, other than Blackwing. Blackwing is the only deck that doesn't need it.
Caius.
Blackwing's just they don't need it. That's the thing. Blackwings are too good. See, that's why this deck is built around just no Caius. Nope. I'm going to restrict you. I'm going to negate you. I'm going to do all this nonsense because we got them birds over here.
Well, that feels like a podcast.
Congratulations, sir.
Stay cooking, my boy.
Absolutely. Thank you for having